if you actually take a look at the way that soldiers are usually trained, you demonize the enemy, and this is a sort of necessary part in that eventually, when combat comes, you have to be able to kill these people. And you are now faced with a very difficult problem that most of the time you don't, you need a reason why you are my friend, but someone who is almost identical to you, your neighbor, is your enemy. And if you all look the same, you need a psychological mechanism that makes it okay to kill this person. Now this is usually done by demonizing the enemy.
Hey, you little turd, you little piece of shit. My God! The reason everyone hates you on YouTube, the reason everyone that sees your videos wants to stomp your skull into a fine powder, is because you are sitting there in our beautiful house.
Well, Laverne here, and thank you for joining me. May this video be a blessing to you, and may it honor and glorify God in His kingdom. I played that clip at the beginning for a couple of reasons. One is to demonstrate that Thunderfoot is well aware of the idea that if you demonize an enemy, you can gain a lot of followers. And we see this in a good number of his videos, that he tries to do this. But he's not alone. There are a good number of atheists making YouTube videos. And not just on YouTube, but there are people who become famous and rich in demonizing people of faith. And it's growing more and more, this movement to demonize people of faith, in particular Islam, Christianity, and Judaism. So we need to look at this, because on YouTube it's just becoming more and more apparent and blatant that it's acceptable to demonize and attack Christians. I talk a bit about this, not in the same way that I am in this video, but I demonstrated that Thunderfoot is willing to lie to try and get his point across that Christianity is evil and people who are Christians are evil. We see it in videos by D.P.R. Jones, where he demonizes people who are bringing their children up in the belief of Christianity. More and more videos are coming out claiming that parents are indoctrinating their children when they teach them about heaven and hell and God. So atheists are doing their best to do exactly what Thunderfoot was talking about in the clip that I showed. Now, he was speaking about it for the purpose of explaining what religion does. According to him, this is what religion does. It tries to demonize people so that others will attack them. But he is doing the very same thing, as well as many other atheists on YouTube. And so that's what I would like to look at. For the rest of this video, I'm going to be looking at the, if you will, the consciousness of the atheist YouTube community. Looking at the YouTube community as if it were an actual consciousness. And if we do this, what do you come away with? What are your feelings about it? A lot of atheists try to claim that if you look at the history of Christianity and Islam and Judaism and so on, what we see is that they are very volatile and violent religions, and that all the wars, you know, millions and millions, hundreds of millions of people killed in the name of religion and so on. They like to think that humanism and atheism is not going to do that kind of thing. That these beliefs are peaceful beliefs, and that we wouldn't have the problems in the world today if we simply did away with religion. And yet today on YouTube, we see the very same thing being done by the atheist community. People trying to demonize religion and demonize people of faith. They try to look at a few individuals and paint them as being the norm. Thunderfoot has done this in his latest video, in which he takes not even a Christian. He takes an atheist who makes a parody video making fun of Christians, pretending to be a Christian. And Thunderfoot takes her video and tries to present it in such a way that it is representative of most Christians, or a good number of Christians. And so he tries to demonize Christians using a parody video, using a video made by an atheist pretending to be a Christian. And he says it's irrelevant. To him, it doesn't matter that it could be, maybe, possibly is a parody video. That's irrelevant according to Thunderfoot. Now, the other part of the clip I showed has to do with someone else. The guy's name is Jordan, I believe, Owen. Well, about a year and a half ago, this guy that I was showing the clip to contacted the family members of another YouTuber, a Christian YouTuber by the name of VenomFangX, and he did so for the purpose of basically trying to cause grief to VenomFangX. And he did that very same thing. Then he got Thunderfoot involved and a couple of other atheists, and they got involved with the family of Thunderfoot and forced, or rather, I'm sorry, the family of VenomFangX, and forced him to close his account. So we have Thunderfoot, who in the clip talks about demonizing the enemy. And then he gets in cahoots with who I forgot to mention was a Satanist, Jordan, a Satanist who professed to work with spells and so on and so forth in the name of Satan. And they contacted this Christian family and forced him to close his account. Well, VenomFangX is back now and making videos. But the fact is, these people took it upon themselves to contact family members of a YouTuber. That was about a year and a half ago. Fast forward to a couple weeks ago. Had a similar kind of thing happen when the atheist YouTuber, itsthesuperfly, contacted social services on Jesus Freak 777, and he contacted them because of an answer Jesus Freak gave to a question that an atheist asked him. The question being, if God asked you to do the same thing that he asked Abraham to do with his son Isaac, would you do it? Meaning, would you sacrifice your child? Now, it was made very clear that the question was read in such a way that we knew it was in fact God. There was no question. This wasn't simply hearing a voice in your head of God asking you to do this, but we had proof and evidence that it actually was God. Well, Jesus Freak answered that he hoped he would have the faith and the strength to do the same thing that Abraham did. Jesus Freak responded by making a video, actually a couple videos, but the final one where he claimed to actually call social services on Jesus Freak. So he got social services involved with a family, you know, which involves possibly taking their children away. And it all had to do with a hypothetical, theological, philosophical question that a Christian answered. This just goes to show that the atheists, just how immoral they are, that they are unable to actually think, you know, consider the fact of what the question was and to take it in the context. What itsthesuperfly heard was, in his mind, in his thinking, what he was hearing is that if Jesus Freak were to hear a voice in his head telling him to kill his child, he would do it. Even though the question was read specifically stating that this is not the case. So here we have atheists getting involved in the lives of Christians, taking it upon themselves to contact family members in the one case and to contact social services in the other. Well, let's look now at the latest video of Thunderfoot's and what's been happening around this. I talked about this in my last video, that we had many atheists railing and coming against this woman who made a parody video, basically poking fun at Christians. But she was doing so at the expense of those who were killed in Japan. Thousands of people killed. What she did is she made a video pretending to be a Christian, taking joy in the fact that God was opening up the eyes of the atheists in Japan by causing this destruction. Thunderfoot took it upon himself to use this clip. Since he made the video, Atheist railed against this woman, dropping her docs. Too many for me to even try and guess at. But these atheists were lining up to drop the docs, giving personal information such as her actual address, her real phone number, and someone who lived with her. Atheists believing that they had the right to drop these docs in the hope that it would instill fear in this person and that she would be forced to close her channel, which she did. But now she has to live in fear. She was simply an atheist poking fun at Christians, and I believe it was done in very poor taste. I mean, using this event in Japan to poke fun at Christians, it was in very poor taste. But it wasn't such that anyone should feel that they can start dropping her docs in the hope that she'd be forced to close her channel, and hoping that somebody actually might act out on this information, possibly causing damage to her home or her car, or things like this, or going further and possibly causing physical damage to her or someone that she knows. This is absolutely sick. There's no reason for it, and what it does is it shows the mentality and the mindset of the atheist community. Because this isn't, individual instances. This isn't rare occurrences. We have people supporting Thunderfoot in mass. Yes, a few people who have spoken out against him, that's good, but the vast majority of atheists are supporting him. The vast majority of atheists were supporting It's the Superfly. A few people spoke out. Most either remained silent or they supported him. So we have the atheist community supporting things like this. Contacting a family member, no problem. Dropping docs, no problem. Calling social services, no problem. It's absolutely ridiculous. And why? It goes back to the clip I showed in the beginning, where Thunderfoot believes that in order to get people to come against your enemy, a good way to do it is to demonize that enemy. And that's exactly what we see atheists doing on YouTube. This loud majority have been demonizing people of faith for quite a while now. And now people have taken upon themselves, it's okay to come against them in their actual lives, affecting them in their actual lives, rather than just simply limiting them to comments and making videos. This is appalling, and this just shows the immorality, and it shows the fact that the atheist community is bankrupt, and then if we were to look at it as an actual consciousness, that they are indeed very, very sick. Alright, as always, I look forward to comments and messages. Till next time, peace and blessings.